to a new episode of A Tuesday Jew. This is part 2 of the Tuesday Jew story. Let me just say it straight. This episode is not a speech, not a lecture, definitely not a TED Talk, and not an AA meeting. This is me talking to you plain and simple. And the people I'm talking to are young Jews, teens, young adults, people who are tired, people who are burnt out, people who are sick of the pressure, sick of the internet, sick of the social media, sick of feeling like they're always being pushed, pulled, compared, judged, and overstimulated. You know what I'm talking about. The shidduch pressure, the marriage pressure, the image pressure, the phone, the noise, the endless stream of stuff that keeps people from hearing themselves think. That's the crowd. That's the Tuesday Jew crowd. That's who this podcast is for. So let's talk like real people. Let's get going into it. I started out in New York for a long time. I was trying to keep a lot of things going all at once. My religious life, my regular life, my work life, my dating life, my family life. My whole head was full. And I'm being honest, I didn't always feel like I fit. Not fully, not neatly, not in the way people expected. That's a big part of the story. A lot of people live with that feeling and don't say it out loud. They're inside the system, but not totally at ease inside the system. They're around it, but not really settled in it. And that was part of my life for a long time. By the time I left New York, I was tired. Not just tired, worn out, soul tired. New York after 9/11 was different. The whole city had a different feel, more pressure, more heaviness, more stress. And on top of that, I had my own personal stuff going on. I was still trying to figure out marriage. I was still trying to figure out dating. I was still trying to figure out what kind of life I was building. And that gets to you. It really does. When you're single for a long time and you really care about building a real life, it can feel like everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got advice. Everyone's got judgment. And after a while, that noise starts to get loud. So leaving New York was a mix. Sadness, relief, release, all of it. I love people there. I love my friends. I loved my community I had, but I needed space. I needed air and I needed out. Then I went to Texas, and let's be honest, Texas was not my dream destination. I was sitting there saying, wow, this is it? No. I was bored. I didn't love it, but it gave me something I needed, my family. I got time with my grandparents. I got time with my little brother. I got time being around my mom. And that stuff matters more than people realize. Because when life is moving fast, you don't always realize how important those quiet family moments are until later. So Texas wasn't flashy. It wasn't exciting, but it gave me a reset. It slowed me down. It gave me room to breathe before the next part of the story. And sometimes that place you don't love is still the place that helps you get to the next place. Then came Israel, and this was different. This was a real turn because Eretz Yisrael opened me up. I didn't go there because I had everything figured out. I went there because I knew I needed more. I needed another way of seeing Yiddishkeit. I needed to get out of one lane and see the bigger picture. And when I got there, boom, everything opened up. Suddenly, there were different kinds of Jews, different kinds of Torah, different kinds of communities, a different kind of energy, different kinds of way of serving Hashem. It felt like I had been stuck with one menu, and then suddenly I walked into a place where the whole kitchen was open. That's what I felt like. Not one narrow path, a world open. Jerusalem felt alive, Tzfat felt alive, the Judean hills felt alive, the hills as a whole felt alive, the air felt alive, the whole thing felt real. And once I experienced that, I couldn't go back to thinking small. I couldn't go back to thinking that there was only one way to be a serious Yid. There isn't. There's different paths, different entrances, different styles, different ways to connect. Now let me talk about something that really changed the way I see Torah. In Eretz Yisrael, I started hearing a bigger vision. The kind of Torah that says all of this is connected. That this group is against that group. Not my team versus your team. More like one big body with different organs. That's what Rav Kook did for me. He showed me that you can have the depth of fire of Hasidus, the sharp learning of places like the Luzhin and Slobodka, and the real love of Eretz Yisrael, and living together inside one Torah. Not three separate religions, one. And that spoke to me because I am a macro thinker. I don't see Torah as a little island. I see it as a whole map. And then I looked at that kind of Torah. I saw someone taking the Litvish world, the Hasidic world, the Mizrahi world, and saying, this is all one story. Different chapters, same book. Different styles, same covenant. That matters a lot for a Tuesday Jew. Because a Tuesday Jew is watching the grown-ups fight. He sees from Twitter, from WhatsApp, from internet, and he sees camps. This side yelling at that side. This Shita against that Shita. This community flexing against that community. He sees he's not stupid and makes him want to walk away. This bigger Torah perspective says you don't have to live like that. You can love all of it. You can be rooted in one place and still respect the others. You can see that Am Yisrael needs all of its pieces, not just one winning team. It wasn't just one Rebbe or one school of thought. I connected to the Mizrahi world because of the way they love the land, not as politics, but as the neshama of the people. Torah, Am Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael all woven together. I connected to the Nervadik because they were something so raw and honest there. They were talking about bittul. Hashem is your nothing in a way that almost feels like Chassidus. And you read it and you realize this is a Litvish world that hits the same place that the heart of Chassidus hits. So then you listen to Litvish voices like Rav Victor Miller, Rav Yitzhak Berkovitz, and you see, and I can love that too. Doesn't just cancel anything. It just adds another color to the picture. Slonim spoke to me as well. There's warmth there, a heart there, a way of talking about Avodas Hashem that isn't cold. And when you look at someone like Rav Weinberg, who started Aish, you realize that even what people call Kiruv, that beginner's yeshiva, comes from a Hasidic heart. He followed his family's Masorah. You can feel it in what he built. So yes, Bells matters to me, so does Mizrahi, so does Nervadik, so does that bigger Rav Kook style vision, so does Slonim, so does the Livisha world when it talks straight and cares about the soul. I'm not only anything, and that's the point. Here's where I get a little fired up. We act like we are all different baseball teams, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Rangers, and one's trying to win the World Series of Frumkeit, but that's not the truth. We're all playing for one team, Hashem's. We're just coming at it from different angles, some more Hasidic, some more Litvish, some more Mizrahi, and some more modern. But all at the end of the day, we're meant to be on the same side. And when we forget that the young people see it, the confused people see it, the Tuesday Jew sees it, and it hurts them. They look and say, if this is Torah, just one camp attacking another camp, why should I sign up? That's what I'm saying about this out loud. We're all B'nai Yisrael. We're all B'nai Torah. And B'nos Torah. We're all trying in our own way to be servants of Hashem. We need to stop looking for the faults first. We need to start looking for all the good points first. This doesn't mean you throw away your derech. It doesn't mean you stop pretending your derech is the only derech Hashem loves. For me, connecting to Mizrahi, Nervadik, Slonim, Litvish, Rabbanim, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Belzer Rebbe, and that bigger vision of Torah. All of that together is what makes me who I am. And that's exactly why I want the Tuesday Jew to hear. You don't have to erase parts of your soul to be real. And you don't have to erase yourself to be real either. You just have to stop living like it's the Yankees versus the Red Sox in Shul. We're one people, one Torah, one Hashem, many paths back to Him. And I want to say something important here. I love the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I do. He mattered to me then. He matters to me now. I still respect him. I still learn from his Torah. I still believe he had a huge impact on the Jewish world. That is not a small thing. That matters. But I also believe in living with the times. The world has changed. It has been a long time. Circumstances changed. Generations changed. At some point I realized I needed to ask myself, what kind of connection do I need in the generation I'm actually living in? The idea came to me strongly through learning Breslov, that a person needs connection to a tzaddik, a living tzaddik, not to erase the past, not to disrespect the past, but to stay alive in the present, to keep moving, to keep growing, to stay connected in a real way. That makes sense to me, a lot of sense. I can still connect to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I can still go to the Ohel. I can still learn his Torah, and I do. But I also need to move forward. I need to live in this generation. I need to connect to the tzaddik of this generation. To me, that's healthy, that's natural, that's how I understand a Jewish life that keeps going until Mashiach comes. And that is where Bells comes in. Bells wasn't random for me. It wasn't something outside idea I picked up for fun. It fit. It fit my background. It fit my family feeling. It fit the way I see Jewish life. I came from Worth. I came from a rooted family background. Galicianer, Jewish, homey. That's in me. So when I started connecting to Bells, it felt like home. It felt familiar. It felt like I was coming back to something that was already part of me. And the Rebbe there stood out to me because of the way he thinks about people. He builds people. He holds people. He cares about the ones who are struggling. That matters. I'm not interested in fake religious energy. I'm not interested in putting on a show. I'm interested in something real, something that can hold a person together when life gets messy. Bells gave me that feeling. I'm not a typical Belzer Chassid. I don't dress bells. I don't wear the full uniform. I connect to the Rebbe. I connect when I'm around Belzer Chassidim. Just like when I grew up Lubavitch, I learned the Chassidus and I tried to connect in my own way. Like I said earlier, I'm a salad bar Jew. I might daven from a bell sitter. I still put on tefillin Chabad style. I mix it up because in my heart is Chassidish. Maybe I'm more of a Baal Shem Tov Jew. There's Chabad Chassidus and there's other Chassidus, and there are some I just click with more. I also click with the Litvisher world, especially Nervadik. I click with bigger Rav Kook vision, and I want the Tuesday Jew to hear this clearly. If you want to connect to Hashem, this is how I do it. You can do it in the way that fits you. As long as you're honest, trying to connect to the source, that's what counts. So when I say, is Eretz Yisrael open me up, that's what I mean. It taught me that Yiddishkeit is bigger than one box. A lot of people get stuck thinking there's only one correct lane, one correct style, one correct way to be a serious Jew. That's just not true. Eretz Yisrael let me see it. How many ways there are to serve Hashem. How many kinds of Yidden there are. How many different forms of Torah can take when it's alive. How I think forever. I stopped being so narrow. I stopped thinking everything had to look one way. I stopped feeling like I had to force myself into a shape that didn't fit. And that was a big relief, a big one. And that brings me back to the whole point of a Tuesday Jew. The people I'm talking to are not looking for a polished speech. They're not looking for a big performance. They are not looking for a lecture. They are burnt out. They're overstimulated. They're on the internet too much. They're on social media too much. They're tired of the machine. They're tired of the pressure. They're tired of feeling like they have to keep it all the time. And in the middle of that, they're losing touch with the basics. Torah, Yiddishkeit, simplicity, spirituality, a normal relationship with Hashem. That's my crowd. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the kid who's exhausted by the system. I'm talking to the young adult who feels pushed around by expectations. I'm talking to the person who wants something real but doesn't know where to find it. That's the voice I wanted to build. I'm not telling you this story because it's my story. I'm telling you it's because I know other people that feel the same thing. A lot of people are searching. A lot of people are tired. And a lot of people feel like they've been lost themselves in the noise. And a lot of people want to come back to something real. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about helping Jews remember that they can still be connected, still be rooted, still be alive spiritually, still have a path back. And for me, that included the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Eretz Yisrael, learning from different worlds, the Breslov emphasis of a living tzaddik, bells and that feeling of home, Mizrahi, Nervadik, Slonim, and a Rav Kook style, big picture that says all these pieces belong to Am Yisrael, and that's the whole thing. So that's the story. I left one world because I was restless and tired and didn't fit. I found spaces in another place. Eretz Yisrael opened my eyes, different parts of Torah opened my heart. and the rooted, warm, family-connected kind of Yiddishkeit made sense to me in a way that stayed with me. I love the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I still do. He matters. He always will. But I also believe in moving forward in a healthy way. I believe in living with the generation we're in. I believe in connecting to a tzaddik who is alive in the present. And for me, Belz became the place of connection. At the same time, I don't throw away the other worlds I carry with me as well. Because all of this, Chabad, Belz, Mizrahi, Nervadik, Slonim, Litvish, Rav Kook's big vision, all of it together is what makes me me. That's what Tuesday Jew is really about. Not polished religion, not fake perfection, not pressure, just real life, real Yidden, and real path back to Yiddishkeit and Hashem, the Eibishter. And that's what I want this podcast to feel like. Not a speech, not a TED Talk, just a conversation, just a story, just a Yid talking to another Yid who needs to know they're not alone. Thank you very much, and talk to you on Friday for the Parsha of the week. Take care. Kol Tuv.